Hello, beautiful world. Okay, so today I want to do part two of going quantum. So I did a video yesterday, which was part one, in which I looked at the uh, 5 levels of transition that we've been going through to get to this new version of quantum reality. That's what I'm calling it. So yesterday I talked about level one, kind of normal life at a certain level of vibration. Level two, kind of opening the heart, being more kind, caring, compassionate, connected, etc. Level three, create more whole, creative, visionary, passion, excitement. Level four, transformative, transcendent, the ability to begin to affect others' life and etc. etc. So then level five, which to me I call quantum reality, is like where you become wild open, you become full of joy, you become exuberant, you go into a state of superflow where the ideas, the invention, the possibilities, that it's all just flowing through you, and you live in a higher state of vibration, but you also live very, very present, very full of life, full of aliveness, vitality, vibrancy, well-being, etc. And at that point, you become what I would call a source of life. And I also talked in the video yesterday about really the first 4 levels are about you transitioning and expanding and becoming. And the fifth level is where you kind of tip over the vibrational horizon into a very high level version of reality, but very present at the same time. And at that point, you become a field, a force, the universe, etc. You have plugged into what I call the quantum field. And the quantum field is where genius ideas, innovation, invention, solutions, possibilities, where all that kind of the stuff that isn't yet, the stuff that wants to come into reality is just waiting there for us to bring it on through in a state of superflow. So that's what I call going quantum. You tip over the vibrational horizon, you expand into a wild, open, joyful, exuberant, full of life, loving life state, and you become a quantum source of reality. Now, at that point, you've become what I would call an alchemist, or I've used the term alchemist, Alchemist. You become an alchemizer of the possibilities of what life wants to become. And it's such an extraordinarily wonderful way to live. You are very present, very alive, very masterful, even, I would say, because at that state of wild open and you're plugged into the infinite intelligence, you're plugged in to the quantum field, and you're now operating in a state of superflow where all this wonderfulness is just coming through you. You become an activator, an actualizer, an alchemizer of that which wants to become now. You can do that with a person, you can do that with a circumstance, you can do that with reality, you can do that with the world, you can do that with the universe, you can do that with consciousness. You can do it in any way you want. Now, the way I like to do that is, let's say I'm working with a person, and I get lots of people ask me for what I call a zing. So it's that alchemical activation that elevates us, that takes us to new levels of ourselves, new possibilities of creativity and life and genius and invention, etc. So I put my focus of, if I'm using a person, I put my focus of that person into the quantum field, like it's kind of there for me. So I see them there, and then I just kind of activate the field of quantum possibilities for them. And this is where if someone's trying to solve a problem, instead of trying to figure it out, this is where when you activate the quantum field of possibilities, then what happens is everything kind of reorders itself, shuffles itself to start to operate in your favor, in the favor of the person or circumstance or world or the things you're most passionate about. When you alchemically activate them as a source creator, as a field, as a force of life, then everything starts to work in your favor. It's quite extraordinary. This new level of vibrational frequency that we're existing in what I'm calling quantum reality is just extraordinary. I mean, you know, where I've had, like, let's say a physical challenge comes up, and I just pour myself into that state of frequency. It's not a meditation for me. It's more active, I think, than that. I'm not seeking peace. I'm seeking exuberance and high vibrational frequency and new possibilities, and I'm alchemically activating all of that. And then I run that stream through my physical body. And what happens with anything I've got going on is it just rewrites itself to not necessarily perfection, but it goes into alignment for itself. I mean, I've always said that if something is happening for you, whether that's physical, whether that's the circumstance, whether that's abundance, you know, whatever it is, it's usually the universe trying to get your attention for something. And so what happens is when you become a source actualizer, a source activator, a source alchemizer of life and what it wants to become, and what happens is all that stuff doesn't have to get your attention anymore, and it all just goes into alignment, and these new solutions appear for it. So as a source of life, as a quantum source creator, what happens is where, let's say, something troubles you in the world, there's some options. You can get angry, you can get upset, you can get sad about it, or you can be an activist for it, or you can become a visionary for it, you could, you know, become a transformer, you could create projects, you could do, those are things that you could do from levels 1 to 4. At level 5, it's more like you become a creator of life as it wants to become. Now, that involves you become a consciousness innovator or a future innovator, which is what I call myself. And at that point, you have all of reality, and you're working with not a reality in the quantum field as vibrational frequency, as new possibilities of how we can live, who we can be, the evolution of being, the evolution of connectivity, of intelligence, of how we relate to one another on a local and global levels. And you can actually actualize and create in consciousness the new possibility and then draw it into reality. It doesn't mean you have to be the one that does that, that takes on like projects and visions and makes it so. You've become a conscious alchemical creator from the quantum field of what life wants to become. So you're creating new versions of reality, new possibilities of futures that we can live into. And then it's not just you do it in consciousness and then you're done. You embody it, you embed it in your own life, you create living templates for it. These are all parts of going quantum and being a source creator of reality. It's such an exciting way to live. I mean, I just love it. I think it's so present, it's so fresh, it's so exciting and exhilarating. It's just a brilliant way to live. I would say it almost, I could use the words miraculous. It's a miraculous way to live where everything becomes effortless, everything comes towards you. You are a living source of reality for all life to thrive. which is so exciting. Okay, so that's it for this one. I just wanted to share those things. I'm doing a course at the end of August 2023 called The Art of Sourcing. If that interests you, it's on my website, solaragreen.com, and you'll find a link to it on the front page there for The Art of Sourcing. I'd love it if you come join me here in the UK, because it also includes a weekend in Glastonbury, Avalon, showing you around, showing these sites. So 3 days of course, 2 days of having some fun together. So if that interests you, go find it on my website. Okay, have a magical day, everybody. Lots of love.